Rainbow Six Year 7. There is a lot of operators in this game. I mean, just look at all these guys. So today we are going to be doing a video about how to play every single one of them. So we'll be talking about every individual op, a minute or two, about every single operator in the game. So go to the timestamp that you want for the operator that you have in mind. And yeah, so we're gonna go through them all. We're gonna do them in order. So let's get to it. All right, so we're starting with Sledge. Sledge is an entry operator, so he is pushing through the map to find roamers, help clear out people on site, and helping facilitate the plant. So as Sledge, you are going to have a breaching hammer, which allows you to push through barricades or soft walls very fast and effectively, probably the fastest operator in the game, and it doesn't make that much noise, so you're going to be able to get the jump on a lot of people. If the site is underneath you and the floor is soft, you can destroy the floor very easily with the hammer. It has a lot of uses, so most of the time you won't run out of uses, so you can hammer the floor to your heart's content. I think it has 25 hits. And then you're also gonna have frag grenades. Frag grenades are extremely important in Rainbow Six. Honestly, it's probably the most important secondary gadget, I think, besides the nitro cell. Gadgets that can kill people are usually the most important. You can clear utility, it can do a lot. So Sledge, very important.
Located a bomb.
So now Smoke. Smoke is an architect. So basically, he is one of the guys that's going to be responsible with setting up the site the way that you want it. So you're going to want to like reinforce walls, make rotates. The reason why you make rotates in Rainbow Six, so you can see, connect bomb sites, and overall hold both sides. So like here, I'm hugging the bomb, well, I can see that bomb as well. So Smoke is a time denial as well as a plant denial. So like, let's say they're pushing in through aquarium, I can throw a smoke canister like so, deny the time. Smokes last about 15 seconds, so I can deny about 45 seconds, and if anyone goes in that smoke, they'll die. But if I walk through the smoke, it doesn't hurt me whatsoever. So Smoke has a shield and barbed wire. A lot of times you are going to want to bring the shield because you're setting up a very strong hold. So I made rotates, I would reinforce this wall as well. We have a good little setup with just one operator, and your team can bring a lot of other utility. So Smoke brings a lot of utility just on his own. So now we have Thatcher. Thatcher has an interesting ability. He gets banned a lot because of the way his ability works. So boom, it's an EMP gadget. Everything that you saw in that radius will get disabled. So any defender utility, like let's say there's Kapkans on this door, or like a Melusi, like a Banshee or something, I throw an EMP and it will disable everything on this door, and we'll be able to walk through no problem. So a lot of the time Thatcher is paired up with a hard breach because you will be able to open up walls very easily with Thatcher. So let's say this wall is reinforced and there's bandits or mutes are on it. I can throw an EMP like so. Hard breach runs up. You can do it with the wall. You can open up the wall, no problem, if there's something on it. You will be able to bandit trick. So if someone is bandit tricking, you throw several EMPs in a row, or if they're trying to trick you at all, like you throw several EMPs in a row, and you will be able to counter through it. Why Thatcher is banned so often, because he's a really good support player, and his gun kit, not too bad. So here we have Mute, who is another architect of the sites. He's going to be able to run around, place his mute jammers to keep drones out, as well as keeping some walls closed. He's probably the weakest wall denial operator in the game, but he will be able to stop walls from getting open. He's going to have 4 gadgets, which is crazy. He's going to be able to keep drones out. Granted, it is very easy to destroy his mute jammers. All you have to do is shoot it, or any type of destruction will destroy his mute jammers. Very easy to destroy. He will have a shotgun, an MP5, and a nitro, so he's a good either roamer or a anchor. Like, you can play him a lot of different ways. And if you are ever getting Dokkaebi called, if you run on top of a mute jammer, it will instantly turn it off. So that is extremely good counter to Dokkaebi. Mute is a very good operator in Siege because he is one of the only operators that will keep those pesky drones out, so attackers will have to peek with their faces instead of with their drones. Next we go to Ashe. Ashe is an extremely good entry. She will have breaching charges or claymores, and she's going to have a grenade launcher that basically opens up a massive breach in soft destruction. So you'll be able to destroy utility like Maestro cams or etc. with your Ashe breach, or you can destroy soft walls or any soft hatch. So a lot of times Ashe is going to be one of the primary entries. You are going to be pushing in, being aggressive, taking gunfights, taking map control, and if the map calls for it, Ashe is really good at working vertical, either up or down. If you're looking up, you can breach soft walls with your breach charge. very easily. You can just shoot it up at the ground. Just make a big, massive hole in the ground. If you hear a defender or see a defender, you can find an angle. And if you're working vertical down, you're going to have breaching charges to work top down. So next, we're going to be talking about Castle. Castle's one of my favorite operators in the game. There's a lot of times where Castle will be extremely viable. He's an architect, so basically you're making a labyrinth on site where the attackers have to push through. So you're gonna have 4 barricades. You can melee them down as an attacker, but it takes 9 hits. You get 4 of them. Any type of explosion will be able to destroy the castle barricades instantly, so just be aware of that. If you hear grenades or anything, you place them up in choke points, make rotates around, and make the map basically look a little different than the attackers would normally expect, giving yourself better angles to keep the attackers out and keeping yourself up. So a lot of times I'll use castle on maps like bank. I'll close a couple windows so we don't have to worry too much about repels, and I'll just play with that 1.5 UMP, which is a super stable gun, and play that long range and just keep them pinned down. Now let's talk about another operator, Thermite, who's one of the hard breachers in the game. So let's pretend that this wall is reinforced. Thermite will be able to put a Thermite exo charge on the wall and we'll be able to destroy it, even if it is reinforced. A mute jammer, a bandit charge, any type of wall denial will be able to keep the Thermite from getting the wall open. But like I said, pair that with an EMP or anything that could get that utility off the wall. Thermite will be able to open up the wall, even if it is reinforced. And Thermite is really good for plant because you will have smoke. You'll be able to smoke off an area and go for the plant. That was really long. All right, so now we're going to talk about Pulse. Pulse is a speedy 3-speed roamer that will be able to run around the map, and using his cardiac sensor will be able to see people through walls. So the range is only about 12 meters, but let's say you're underneath somebody, you can find them with your scanner and you'll be able to hit them with your nitro. So Pulse is extremely good to kind of catch people off guard if you feel like they're taking a lot of control of the map, but you are able to roam around. You can go down there. If you are roaming and they know that you're down there, it will force the attackers to have to come deal with you, which gives you a lot of opportunity to run around and just make plays. And if they don't come for you, then you should be able to go for a nitro kill. Pulse is an extremely good roamer, but the second the attackers know that the Pulse exists, it does limit a lot of what Pulse can do. But him being on the board can be a massive weapon. And if you find a nitro kill, definitely worth. So let's talk about Twitch. Twitch is more of an entry operator, but a little bit support. So Twitch is going to have smoke grenades or claymores as an amazing gun, probably some of the best guns in the game, and shock drones. So shock drones can be used to, they work like normal drones. So Twitch was going to get 1 normal drone and 2 shock drones. So overall, she's going to have 3 drones. The shock drones can jump. They have infinite range with their laser, and you get 3 charges, which do come back. So if you keep your drones up, you will be able to destroy a lot of utility. You can drive your drones around and destroy utility. Some utility cannot be destroyed. Like a Banshee, you'll only be able to disable it until it's activated, obviously. You're going to be able to destroy a lot of utility with these Twitch drones. Not everything, though. So Twitch is mostly used as an entry fragger. She has an amazing gun, which massive fire rate with amazing damage. She will also have smoke, so a lot of times if you are trying to have a smoke operator, so you could go for those sick plants, which is probably going to be your go-to unless you want to run like an OSA or something. All right, so now we're going to talk about Doc. He's going to have an MP5 CQB shotgun and a P90. A lot of times most people are going to run the MP5. Will have a 1.5 scope. He's definitely functions as more of an anchor, but can be an aggressive player. What you'll have barb, not that much utility to really do anything on site, so you can help reinforce, put some barb down, and you just hold the MP5 with a 1.5. And his ability, stim pistol, you'll have 3 charges. What it does, you heal by 40. If you're not at maximum health, you will heal up to that health, but if you use it while you're at full health, you'll get a 40 health overshield, which is great if you're trying to do something stupid like run through a claymore or activate it and then go for a run out. And if you get hurt, very easy to just save yourself again And Doc does have the additional bonus that when he goes down, he will be able to revive himself if he has stim pistols still left. And you'll be able to shoot these across the map, but you gotta make sure that your teammates are standing still. Now we're going to talk about Montagne. Montagne is a shielder operator, so you're going to have a shield. When you ADS, you put your head down so people will be able to headshot you when you do this, but you'll be able to aim, use your pistol. You can also hip fire, but the hip fire is obviously a lot less accurate. I mean, look at those bullets, my God. But the good thing about Montagne, you can extend your shield fully. You won't be able to use your pistol in this mode, but they will not be able to shoot you at all from the front. You'll be able to block off doors. Just make sure they can't get around you at all, and should be able to just push through. So Montagne is extremely good operator for pushing because he will have smokes as well. You can push through the smokes with your shield fully extended and potentially work a plan. Montagne is extremely useful for this exact purpose. We'll be able to push in aggressively, and you can't really do anything about him. So let's say there's a defender behind that couch. Montagne can push through,
15 seconds left.
basically walk towards the defender. Nitro at the front of Montagne won't actually kill him. He'll be able to push the defender out, or he'll be able to kill him outright, or go for a get up close and melee. Oh no, we lost. All right, so now we're talking about Rook. So Rook, you'll be able to drop armor packets on the ground like so, and then you pick it up. I mean, all defenders will be able to pick up one, and it will give you a 20 health increase. So you'll have 20 extra health throughout the entire round. Let's say I get hurt a little bit and I find some way of healing. I will be able to heal up to 145 again. When I get revived, I believe that goes away. So Rook is a little out of the meta. He will have a 2x on his MP5 though, so long range, he's extremely good if you're trying to be aggressive, and he will have impacts if you're trying to do some crazy stuff, as well as making rotates. So best times to use Rook: long range maps where you're going to need a MP5 scope and you're really confident in your gunplay. So Glaz is a little interesting as an operator, so he is going to have a couple interesting options for secondary weapons, as well as smoke grenades and frag grenades. So we're going to bring smokes because we want to talk about how Glaz's ability works. So Glaz has a thermal optic, which will allow him to see directly through his smokes like it's not even there. And when you have it over a player, you'll be able to see them glow basically yellow. So here's how the scope looks. Show some of the recoil. Fairly recoily, but his true ability comes from this. So smoke grenade comes out, I'll be able to see right through it, no problem. And because of the thermal aspect, I will be able to just pick them right out. And obviously there's no vision here, but I can see clear as day right through it. But if you move around, that thermal ability goes away. So we're gonna stand still and it'll come back. All right, so now we're gonna talk about Kapkan. Kapkan will have 5 entry denial traps. So one trap will do about 50 damage to an attacker, but 2 traps will down an attacker. I think it actually does 60 to down everybody. So it does about 60, and you can place multiple traps. So if an attacker hits these traps, what will happen? They will be downed. But if you have 3 traps, they will die instantly. So let's say you have 3 traps, they walk through this, they will die instantaneously with no work from you across the map. But attackers will be able to see the traps and they'll be able to shoot them. So a lot of times what you can do is like place like 3 like that, and then maybe like 1 here. So even if they shoot 1, or if they shoot this one, they think it's clear, boom. Or they shoot all 3, they'll still get hit by 1. So a lot of ways you can use these traps. A lot of times people will be lurking around, and you can just kind of place them on every door frame. You can only place them on door frames. And yeah, I mean, and he also has Nitro. Can't beat Nitro, baby. Very aggressive defender. Will be able to keep the rats out, as well as securing kills for your team. So now we're going to talk Fuze. Fuze is the vertical king of the top down. So you will have breaching charges, and he was going to have 4 cluster bombs. So what the cluster bomb does, so let's say I just want to place a cluster bomb here, no problem, and it'll shoot grenades through the floor. You can shoot them in the wall as well. I want to show you guys what that looks like. Be careful, because they can kill you. You can destroy a lot of utility, especially on the top down. So a lot of times that I would pick Fuze when we can go top down and we can clear out of sight all their utility, no problem. You can also place these on reinforced walls. However, there's going to be a timer on the gadget that will let the defenders know, look, they have plenty of time to move. And like I said, we're gonna have breaching charges to work the top down. We're gonna go watch that, how it looks from the top down side. Oh my god. You can see how that would be scary and force defenders out of their area, because these will kill you very quickly. Now we're going to talk about the Lord of Siege, Tachanka. So Tachanka, I mean, think of him as a kind of like a smoke player. You're going to be an architect. You're going to have a shield. You're going to have the plant denial. We're going to talk about his gadget in a second, but with this gun, this is how you make the rotates. Love it. This gun will kill very quickly and make rotates very fast. So let's talk his gadgets. So let's say we reinforce this wall up. We're trying to keep them from planting on the A-bomb from the aqua side over there. So here's what I do. What will happen? It'll detonate fire. And I'm safe while I do this. I can just keep moving one after the other. Let's see how long they last. So about like 7 to 10 seconds. So Tachanka is used mostly as plant denial. Once you learn the angles for it, you will be able to keep them out very easily. So now let's talk Blitz, another shielder operator to Rainbow Six. So how is Blitz different from Montagne? Well, the biggest change is that Montagne can full extend and Blitz isn't able to do that, but he can full sprint with his shield up, so his head will be covered, and his ability will allow him to flash anyone in front of him, allowing you to get a quick melee kill or be able to put your gun up and just take out them. So Blitz is extremely strong in one-on-one fights. I feel like Blitz is the ultimate duelist. You'll be able to pressure up, but make sure to protect your feet, because a lot of defenders will be able to just shoot your feet. If they have decent aim, they'll just aim down, shoot you in the legs. But if you crouch, you'll be able to protect your legs. So you sprint, you crouch to dodge the speed shots, and you keep pushing forward close enough to get a flash them out, and then you take them out for your kill. Be careful of adjacent angles, because the defenders will team up on you and shoot you in the side of the head. So now let's talk about Jager. So Jager can place his ADS denial anywhere on the site, on the floor, on the wall. What it will do, it will any attacker utility, smoke, flash, anything besides Capitao arrows will be absorbed by the ADS, and then the ADS will go down for a little bit of time, about like 10 to 15 seconds, and then it will come back up, ready to absorb another gadget from the attackers. So you can stack them up all together, maybe like having 3 together. Like here's what a lot of people do. They'll have a shield and they'll put 3 ADS next to it. So attackers will have to throw 3 things to burn the ADS, and then they can throw something to clear the shield. So they're going to have to use 4 parts of utility, which requires a lot of coordination, which a lot of people aren't going to do. Or you can deal with the ADSs by, like, you know, using a push shot or whatever. So Jager is extremely strong. He can swing aggressively. He's a decent gun. He's an assault rifle, and Jager players tend to be fairly good. So now let's talk IQ. IQ will have quite a bit decent amount of guns. So I'll have a G8, an AUG, or a Commando to choose from. Every single one of our guns is great. Just 3-speed. Her ability, we'll be able to detect gadgets. You'll be able to mark them through the wall, like so. We'll be able to see enemy gadgets no matter what they are. I mean, obviously these are just cameras, but I'm not sure I can wallbang that, but well, anyways. But we will be able to run around, get whatever gadgets, whatever you can see. We'll have about 20 meters range. So let's say you're going after a pulse, you will be able to take him out. I like to pair this with a suppressor, so you can defenders won't know where you're coming from. So IQ is a little under the meta currently, purely because she won't have any frag grenades, and a lot of times there are better choices to bring, but she does have pretty good weapons. If you are just trying to play a run and gun game, she is a lot of fun. Then we're going to talk Bandit. You will have Bandit charges that will be able to keep out the attackers. I mean, reinforced wall, obviously, they don't need a hard breach, but with the Bandit charge on the wall, that won't be an issue. So let's say I have a Thatcher, you are able to Bandit trick. Let's say we're trying to keep this wall closed. Like, you can put multiple bandits on the same wall. So like, let's say they throw an EMP, I'll be able to place another charge while it gets EMP'd, and the second I release is when the Bandit charge is active. So if you time it right, you will be able to keep the wall closed. And yeah, he is a decent roamer, decent sight holder, and you're gonna have decent weaponry with a nitro. So decent op. Really depends on the situations where there's a wall that you are trying to keep closed. When you are picking Bandit, this is kind of what you're going for. So let's talk Buck. Buck is extremely strong on the entry. He will be able to deal with soft walls faster than Sledge, and he will also be able to use a skeleton key as a weapon for very close range, like a shotgun. So Buck has a decent arsenal. He'll be able to use his gun or a shotgun to get kills. Like, be able to make quick rotates that you can see through walls easily, making a lot of line of sight for you while you clear out the roam. And like situations like this, you are going to be able to make a lot of lines of sight very quickly while swapping back and forth extremely fast. So he's extremely good clearing the roam, as well as opening up lines of sight that defenders might not be ready for. So now we're talking about Frost. Frost is another architect. We'll be able to make rotates, make the side however you need to. And one thing that Frost has, which is great in it, the primary gadget for Frost, which is the Frost mat. So the Frost mat, you want to place in areas that people might not watch when the attackers come in. So like, let's say you're an attacker and you're coming through the store, you're walking around, I'm walking in like this, and I might hit a Frost mat either there, or you might hit it like, let's say like here. They're not going to look in those blind spots, so they're going to be like gun up, do like this and hit it, or they come in like this and they're like, and they hit it. So, or you could have them under windows, so when people jump in or they swing in or whatever, they hit the Frost mat. So let's say I put one here and they jump in or swing in. I mean, this is swing in obviously, but they're gonna hit the Frost mat. And what happens when you hit the Frost mat? You go instantly down. Frost has a decent gun, the 9mm, very stable, very slow with high damage, which is great. And shotgun backup to make the rotates when you need to. So now we're going to talk BlackBeard. BlackBeard, I mean, his ability is a face shield, which will be destroyed in like 1 or 2 bullets, but with a 1 headshot death mechanic, it's extremely strong. So let's say I open up this door, I repel upside down while only exposing my head, and I should be able to watch this area while holding it and just kind of providing support while my team walks in and potentially goes for a plant. BlackBeard is extremely strong after you are already taking ground. It's like when you're just stable, holding an angle, it's very easy to win a firefight as BlackBeard. And if you feel like you're a little bit slow, because the shield does slow you down, look at this. You take the shield off for a little more speed and a little bit less recoil reduction. So you don't feel like you have to have the BlackBeard shield on if you don't want it. So Valkyrie is a very simple op. I mean, you have an MPX and a Nitro, but this is why she's banned so often. You are going to get 3 cameras you can place wherever you want, however you want, and I'm going to show you guys why this is very, very, very strong. So they go underneath. Any of my teammates can get on the cameras, by the way.
Where's Lex?
So we get on cams. I can see everything in that room plant site and aqua walk in. So let's say I see them in here, they have no idea my cam's here. I can mark like this. Free nitro kill. Very easy to get nitros as Valkyrie, kind of like Pulse, but Valkyrie doesn't necessarily have to play near her cameras, and you can throw her cameras wherever you want. So like, let's say I just don't want to go for nitros, I will have eyes like on the site, so I know when they're going for a plant or if they're pushing in. So next we're going to talk Capitao. So Capitao, LMG as well as a para. LMG meta currently is just so strong. What he can do, he is going to have fire bolts as well as smoke bolts. So Jager's ADSs won't be able to grab these, but Wamai's dis will be able to. So let's show what these do. So fire, let's say someone's behind that little corner right there, I can shoot right behind it and it will force them out, or they'll die. I mean, let's show you how much damage this does. Yeah, it kills you pretty quick. You gotta move. And then here's the smokes. So a lot of times, like, let's say I'm wanting to pressure in through here, like that, I guess. You pressure in, and that smoke's not the best, but you guys get the general idea. You have smokes, you pressure in. Capitao functions more as a support op who is able to provide cover to the hard breacher as they go for a plant. So let's say they're going for a plant, I can like fire off that door so they can't pressure forward, so I know they're not going to walk through that door, while just keeping that door pinned with an LMG while my hard breacher plants. So now we're going to talk about Caviera. So Caviera is I would argue, is probably one of the most fun operators to play in the game. You'll have a shotgun like so, that's full auto. You can kill very close range, or a SMG that works well at long range because it's fairly stable, but is very slow fire rate. So you'll be able to run around and just use your shotgun, keep people out. Her ability, the silent step, listen to my audio. The silent step makes that audio much quieter, even in full sprint. So when you use the silent step, it'll force your pistol out. The pistol does 60 damage, so 2 shots to the body on most any operator, and they will go down. It loses effectiveness at about this range. So, and if you get a headshot, it instantly downs them, because as Caviera, if you run on top of an enemy, you can interrogate them. What interrogation does, basically, it takes about 4 to 5 seconds, and what happens after that, it spots every attacker on the map for about like 10 seconds, which is extremely strong. But I mean, you have to be on top of an attacker and they can call it, I'm getting interrogated, and the attackers can just kind of run over and kill you while you're interrogating. It's very hard to get an interrogation off, but if you do, it is definitely game changing. So now we're going to talk about Hibana. So how Hibana works, you'll get 18 Kairos pellets, which you can shoot 2 at a time, 4 at a time, or 6 at a time. Make sure that you're able to walk through it if you're getting a reinforced wall. Hatches will require 4 Kairos pellets to be detonated on the hatch to open it. You can shoot 2 at a time, so let's say someone's being a pesky little impact tricker, you can just shoot 2 at a time at the hatch. Very easy to open the hatch that way, because obviously defenders are normally not going to have that many impact tricks. So let's say a map like Clubhouse, a lot of people will ban Hibana so they are able to impact trick that hatch at Armory. Hibana is really strong at just getting a wall open for long range very easily without really putting yourself in danger. The downside to Hibana is honestly that her breaching isn't super large, that most of the time that you can get through. A lot of times it's more from line of sight and just opening up hatches. So she is the hatch operator. So let's talk Echo. So Echo is definitely an anchor operator. There's no other way I can really think about Echo than an anchor operator, because a lot of the time you're going to be on your yokai drones. So here's what the yokai drones do. So you drive a drone around, you can drone defenders around the building if you want while doing this. Let's say there's an attacker in VIP, I'm droning defender in, I'm like, oh, there's the guy in VIP and he's stunned, and that will concuss them, make it really hard for them to win that initial firefight. So I'm gonna show you guys what the concussion actually does. So it works on yourself as well. So audio's messed up, you can't really tell what's going on. And here's how visible it is. I mean, they're not invisible anymore, so you can just, and it'll destroy the drone. So a lot of time you're gonna want to either hide the drone in a spot or a corner, or you're gonna hide it like under a desk so you can drive it out when they start to go for plants. So let's say I hide my drone here, and let's say they're going for a plant right here. What I can do and deny their plant. So now let's talk Jackal. Jackal is the ultimate entry in terms of roam clearing. So if you ever run up to where a defender used to be, you'll be able to see their footprints, and when you use Jackal's ability, you'll be able to scan them. So you get 3 scans. So what the scans will do is it'll ping the defender's location every couple seconds, about 3 or 4 times until it's out. If it is Caviera, Caviera can hide her footprints with silent steps, so it is fairly difficult to find the Caviera, but everybody else, not too bad. You're gonna be able to clear out the map very quickly unless they're crawling around. If they're going prone, crawling around, they will be able to hide their footprints. Even when you're out of scans, you can still have your ability up to see the footprints as they're walking around. You won't be able to scan them, but the footprints will be colored, like red, yellow, blue, with red being very, very recent and blue being very old. So they disappear. They only last about 20-30 seconds, so you click on it and you should be able to get a lot of kills. Jackal is very good on larger maps where you want to just take control of the entire map, run around, and basically just frag them out. So now we're going to talk about Mira. So Mira is banned very often, and there's a very strong reason why. Her Miras, which she gets 2 of them, will be able to basically always give you an advantage in a firefight until those Miras are destroyed. You'll be able to see them, and they won't be able to really tell where you're at or really be able to know when you're going to swing them until you do. So Mira has a vector, a shotgun, so she can make the rotate, so she's also an architect, and she's a knife with the plant now. Mira is basically a Swiss Army knife of holding down his sight. She is very strong at everything she does, so we're going to show a little bit of what she does really quick. All right, so here's her mirror. Place it on like so, and then it's done. You make her rotate very easily with secondary shotgun. And yeah, so you'll be able to peek out. Here's what the other side looks like. They can't see anything. They can't shoot it. They can't nitro it. They can't do anything to that mirror from the front side. But anyone that gets behind it, all it takes is a bullet or a twitch drone. And then the mirror's open and they can see right through it like it's not even there. But it still gives you a decent line of sight to engage them. So Ying is a crazy fun op to play. I'm gonna show you guys why. So you have an LMG with a 1.5 that is extremely stable on a pre-fire, quick reload, and you're gonna have 2 smokes. So she is extremely good at the just aggro rush, and she gets Candelas. You can hold them so they blind longer, but guess what? They don't blind Ying. So you can use these through the wall or through the floor, like so. And I'll just flash through the wall. So Ying is extremely strong at just fighting in an area where there might only be maybe like 1 defender or 2 defenders. Flash down as many as you can and push it in through your flashes with the LMG while pre-firing. All right, so now we have Lesion. He has impacts, decent gun, the T5, and he will have goo mines. So what goo mines do? So let's say an attacker walks over the goo mine. I mean, they also go invisible, so it's very hard to see them as an attacker. They hit it. It will start to deal slow damage to them until they pull it out, which takes like 3 seconds to pull out, and they cannot defend themselves while they do it. And they'll make a lot of noise when they take damage. They'll like just like scream and shout. So Lesion is extremely good on the roam, as you can place them at random doorways and entryways, so you know how the attackers are pushing through. And they come back slowly, so like I'll still get 6 more mines. You get a ton of mines. I'll get 6 more mines, but they come back as the round is progressing. So, and if I stare like very easily like at them, like I can tell where my mines are at, if it's been triggered or not, so I can be able to glance. Okay, no one came. So let's say this door is open and that mine's still there. I know that no one came through that door very quickly. They're either still outside or they went around somewhere else. So extremely good roamer, because on the roam, you'll be able to throw your mines in doorways and entryways, or hell, just in the middle of the hallway, and be able to tell very easily where the attackers are coming from. Here's what it looks like on the stairwell, because that's like, they're easy to tell where they're at if you're like really looking for them, but if you're like in your peripheral, honestly, it's really hard to tell. All right, so now let's talk about Zophia. Zophia has a crazy good LMG and an AR that got a little nerfed, but I like to think that the AR is going to get buffed in the future. But the LMG is definitely getting nerfed in the near future. But currently, right now, 150 bullets. It is crazy good. Barely any recoil. It is an extremely strong gun. When you hear LMG meta, this is one of the LMGs they're referring to. Zophia has 2 impacts in her gadget, which is like basically just a grenade launcher, and then 2 concussions. The concussions, when you shoot it into a hallway or at a defender, it will activate instantly and just concuss them. If you shoot it down the hallway and it doesn't go off instantly, that means that the hallway is clear. It will go off on proximity near defenders. So if you shoot it down a hallway and nothing happens, then you know for a fact that that hallway is clear, or they're not close to where you shot it. Zophia is an entry, so don't be afraid. Take aggressive gunfights and probably win. The LMG is really strong, honestly. Definitely run that LMG until it's nerfed, because it will make you win a lot of games. Zophia is really strong when it comes down to, like, sometimes there's a shield and there's a lot of ADSs or denial on the shield. Zophia is really good to destroy that because she has 4 burn by herself. So all other operators that don't have like extra utility will like have like 3 flashbangs or 2 grenades. She'll be able to have 4 things she can shoot out of shield. So let's say you shoot 2 concussions to destroy the ADSs, and you shoot 1 impact to get the shield, or 2 impacts to get the shield. Even with the Jager placing all 3 ADSs on a shield, she'll still be able to get through. So Ella is a little bit of a roamer, but she's also going to have a shield or barb, however you want to run her. I would probably grab a shield because, you know, a lot of times you're not gonna have a shield. So her Scorpion is a little crazy. I mean, just look at this recoil. This is just, you can either run the Scorpion or run the shotgun. Either option is solid. The shotgun is probably overall the better gun, and she's going to get Grismots. So what the Grismots do in this radius, so look at this radius again, activates pretty quickly. So in that radius, when they hit it, they'll get concussed when they walk into it. So let's say the attacker's pushing up, they get concussed, and if you play near Grismots, you'll know they're there, and you'll be able to swing out and take an aggressive gunfight. So a lot of times you want to use these. You want to use them for like areas that they're going to walk through. Like I'll put one like here, so like I know like they're walking in the hallway, you're not really going to see it. You walk down and you hit it, it's going to activate. We're going to know that you're in this hallway. Or let's say they're trying to plant, I can throw one. Let's say they're planting behind the bomb, I can throw one next to them. Granted, they're easy to shoot, but it will go off and stop the plant. So there's a lot of ways you can use her. A lot of times people are going to use the Grismots in a more aggressive way, or play around your Grismots. When they go off, then you swing. And we have Dokkaebi, another roam clear operator. So when you use your ability, what it does, boom. When it goes off, it will alert the defender's phone, make a lot of noise. So if you don't hear anybody nearby, that means there's either a mute chamber they're sitting on top of, or there's no one there. And you can push in pretty aggressively. Like I said, if they are on top of a mute chamber, if they walk on top of a mute chamber during the call, nothing will happen. So if you're ever unsure where they're at, push it in. You'll be able to hear off audio pretty easily where they're at. Like you'd be able to hear through this wall and maybe try to take them out. And Dokk has a DMR, which is pretty great to be able to just punch through walls, giving yourself a little bit of line of sight that a defender might not expect. And now we have the dedicated roamer player, Vigil. So with this K1A, and pretty great, honestly, secondary weapon. Like he has a decent arsenal, taking aggressive gunfights, keeping the attackers back. So what his ability does, basically hides him. Any type of drone that runs up to him and tries to see him, all they'll get is a scanner that you see at the bottom. That's all they'll see. They'll hear the audio of me walking around, unless I'm like crouching around, and they won't really hear me too much. You know, when it goes off, they'll be able to see me again. So every time I use it, they won't know exactly where I'm at, but they'll have a general idea because they'll see the white scanner at the bottom. So Vigil is really good on the roam because as the attacker's drone, they'll look around for the Vigil. And if I'm like, let's say I'm like, they know I'm up top, they activate my ability. I can like pretend like I'm still up there like so. Like they're gonna think that I might still be up top because they're still gonna see that white scanner even when I'm downstairs. So you can really waste their time and basically force the attackers to waste all their time, so when they go for an execute on the site, they're not gonna have enough time to really coordinate anything relevant. And if you get any kills, awesome. The line's good up when you're trying to make an aggressive rush or an aggressive push. His ability will make it so the defenders will have to stand still. So when you use your ability, which will look like this, they'll get a counter like that at the top. If they ever move during that second phase, then they get spotted very quickly, like 3 or 4 times. Like every like half a second they'll get spotted. So if they do move, you'll be able to get a quick ping on where they're at. So let's say I like want to do this. You push it aggressively. If they swing you, you'll get a ping while that's going off, and you'll be able to make an aggressive push. Let's say you're going for a plant. Let's say my teammate's planting like right here, or like planting in the corner. I can activate the ability to just hide the audio of the plant entirely, and also prevent the attackers, sorry, the defenders, to push forward. They can push forward, like it's not going to stop them, but all it'll do will ping them. So some defenders won't be persuaded to not push you when things are coming, like when the push comes to shove. Like if I know the attackers are going to plant, I'm not going to care if the line is scanning me or not. I'm just going to make an aggressive push to counter that diffuser. So now we're going to talk Maestro. So Maestro is definitely an anchor operator. With his LMG, he's going to be able to full spray someone down as they push through into your site. You're going to have 80 bullets. Probably, I'm pretty confident is the only defender with an LMG. He is going to be a 3 armor, so he's going to be a tanky meatball. That's what a lot of people call him. They're going to call him the meatball. With his Maestro camps, he will be able to open them up and basically zap people. So they're bulletproof. Won't be able to destroy them very easily unless they use explosives, or when you open up the evil eye, you will be able to shoot with the part where the laser's coming out. So if you know the attacker is looking directly at the evil eye, maybe don't shoot the laser at them. Like you want to kind of function like the boo from Mario and just keep zapping them every time they turn their back around. And when they're going for a plant, if you can zap them and down them, even better. So a lot of times Maestro will be used. He'll be using his impacts and use cameras to just do slight damage to the attackers to annoy them, or to be able to stop the plants. All right, guys, let me introduce you to the most broken operator in the game currently in year 7. That is Finka. So let me explain why. Her LMG is absurd. No recoil, 46 damage, 680 fire rate. You can just spray down a hallway or spray down an enemy while full swinging, and honestly, you don't even need to go for headshots. All you gotta do is make sure the bullets hit them somewhat. You have a Gone 6, which is already incredible considering Finka also has frag grenades, which is extremely meta currently. And last but not least, you also have the adrenaline surges. So what her ability does, so every time you activate it, it heals everybody, every single one of your teammates by 20 health. Now let's say they're already full health. Well, they'll get a 20 health overshield that deplenishes pretty quickly, kind of like Doc. So it'll go down slowly until they're at maximum health. So when your teammate takes an entry firefight, gets hurt, you can heal them up. 60 health on every single one of your teammates. And better yet, the piece de resistance. If any teammates go down, you can use your adrenaline surge to instantly revive them anywhere on the map, no matter how close you are to them. Yeah, Finka is a scary operator, and that's why a lot of higher elo players have started banning her, because she is crazy good. All right, on the flip side of Finka, we have Alibi. So, Bailiff for quick little rotates. You're gonna have a shield to give your people on site, and then you kind of run off and do your own thing. So what I like to do with the Alibi clones, the Gemini replicators, well, actually, sorry, that's Iana. What I like to do with the clones, place them in doorways. So As the attacker, if it bumps it, they'll be spotted for a couple seconds. So what they can do, they can shoot it. So if they shoot it, they're not spotted. They shoot it like the ground like that, but that will let you know across the map that at least an attacker had eyes on your clone. And Alibi is usually the entry fragger of your team. Alibi's gun is crazy good. The Storm has a massive fire rate. Honestly, this is just, Alibi's just insane. I personally don't enjoy playing Alibi too much because there's always another teammate that loves Alibi and crashes Alibi. Alibi is probably going to get a nerf at some point in time, but right now Alibi is extremely strong. There's literally no reason to not run her, and like literally just placing a clone like in a line of sight that someone might accidentally shoot, and you can just shoot around, because like if I shoot it, nothing really happens. Like, it's whatever. If they accidentally shoot my clone, well, then they get spotted. And if I fought around my clones as an attacker, like, it's just kind of annoying. Like, always pro tip, make sure you have your default uniform set so you look exactly like your clone, because your clone will not change with your skin. So Maverick is an extremely strong operator, is the probably arguably the best hard breacher in the game, as well as a decent entry frag in his own right. So as a hard breacher, he can go through any reinforced wall with no issue, no matter what's on the wall. He can poke holes in it, no problem. His Maverick torch will allow him to just do whatever he wants to the wall. To open up the wall is a little tricky, however, which takes a little bit of skill, but we're going to demonstrate that really quick for you guys. But let's talk about him as an entry first. So as an entry, he's a decent gun. He also has frag grenades. Like, he's not a sleeper. Like, you can pick him, and he's a 3-speed. You can pick him, run in, and honestly just frag out. Like, Maverick is a solid operator on an entry. And if you ever find yourself in a situation that you can potentially open up a wall, I mean, a lot of times, like, let's say a clubhouse, like you're pushing the cash wall and you need to open up the wall and you don't have another player with you that will help you, or your solo queue, you can just open the wall yourself, and we're going to demonstrate that out right now. So I'm going to steal this video footage from my how to play Maverick tutorial. So you can either make a hole like that to throw a grenade through to get off any type of wall denial for your main hard breach, or you can make holes like so, making sure you get the corners of the reinforcement. You go all the way across like so, top and down, and the wall will be soft. You will need another soft breach like an Asher, Zophia, or a Sledge, Buck, etc. to open up the wall, because now it's not reinforced. That is just a soft wall. Once that's open, you guys will be able to walk in, no problem. So now let's talk Clash. So shield operator on defense. So you're gonna have your shield up, kind of like Montagne when it's fully extended. Clash is going to be able to shoot electricity at attackers, which will slow them. So you can shock them like they're like, it slows them like they're in barbed wire. So you can shock them while moving. So you can shock them while moving away. But to be able to kill them, you're not gonna be able to kill them with just a laser unless they're low health. You will have to swap to your gun, and then your shield is going to be on your back, which you can use your shield on your back like so to protect yourself, like so. Like I'll show under the camera really quick. You are going to be extremely slow when you're a Clash. Just be aware, because like you do have a lot of protection on your back. So like there's my front, here's my back. Like I am still bulletproof when it's on my back, so they're going to have to shoot me in the back of the legs. So one thing a lot of people like to do, let's say they're pushing me, they're in front of me, one thing people love to do, put on my back and then turn on them like that. So it's like I'm bulletproof, you put it on your back and then you turn around and shoot. One more time. So nothing too crazy on that. So Clash is usually mainly picked to stall enemies out. Let's say they're trying to come through service, I go Clash just to keep eyes on them and just kind of pester them as they try to push forward. Pushing forward in front of a Clash is extremely difficult and extremely annoying. The shield, I can take explosives head on, but there's a lot of ways to counter the Clash. Like some explosives, if it gets behind me, let's say a grenade, it will kill me instantly. So you have to make sure that you keep your shields facing them and nothing can get behind you.
5 seconds remaining.
So now let's talk Nomad. Nomad is an extremely strong operator. She is probably the strongest flank watch in the game. So you're gonna have air jabs. You're gonna have 3 of them. You can shoot an air jab in any proximity, you shoot it from your gun. So you equip it to your gun and you fire it. It'll take a couple seconds to activate, and when it's activated, anytime a defender walks in proximity to your air jab, it will knock them on their back. So let's say someone's trying to run out on you. You're gonna shoot an air jab on the door. They will try to run out, and they'll get hit by the air jab, and you'll be able to have plenty of time to react to them and take them out. You will have to kind of pay attention to it, because if you're too far away, they're just gonna get air jabbed, get knocked around, and be able to just run back inside. So playing around your air jabs is very key. Nomad is, think of Nomad like a rock climber. Like, you climb up a bit, and then you put a spike into the wall, and you keep going forward. So like, as you pressure into the map, you put the air jab on your flanks or on an aggressive retake site that the defenders might use, and you just keep pressuring forward. And Nomad, with a decent gun, the ARX, my favorite gun, to be honest, as most of you probably know that, she's extremely strong. She used to be my old main. I used to play her literally all the time. I mean, she is extremely strong. There's nothing bad with Nomad. The only bad thing with Nomad is her aggression. Her like soft breach is very weak, so you do need to pair her with a lot of soft breaches and entries, because she doesn't have much pushing power. For pushing power, you're gonna need frag grenades, but she is gonna have burns. So like on maps like where you need burn to like burn a shield, you are gonna be able to burn it with flashbangs. And the one thing I like about Nomad is, even if you have nowhere to place your air jabs, you can throw 3 flashbangs at a shield, and then you can also shoot you can also shoot your air jabs at the shield to get 6 burn. If you really have to, you're probably never going to need to do that. I would maybe shoot 1 or 2 if I really had to. I'd never shoot all 3. But it is an option. Now let's talk Cade. Cade is probably the strongest wall denial in the game. You can throw his claws very quickly at a wall or a hatch. He's the only operator in the game that is capable of denying a hatch, other than, like, let's say throwing impacts. He's very strong. A lot of times you will see some Cade bans on certain maps like Bank, or a lot of maps that have a lot of hatches, because he is the only operator that can actually keep the hatches closed. Now let's not talk about his wall denial and hatch denial. Let's just talk about Cade as an operator. Other than that, he's extremely strong weaponry. He has an AUG, which is great as a 1.5 is getting, potentially might get the 1.5 taken away in the future, but he also has a decent slug shotgun that kind of functions like a DMR, which is extremely good, which you guys will see in the clip. And he also has a nitro. Cade is a Swiss Army knife of destruction. You can low-key kind of play him like an entry, a roamer, or like a, honestly, you can play whatever you want. You're gonna get a lot of kills as Cade. You can throw your claws on the wall to deny, or you can try to trick with them, or you can do whatever you want. It has a lot of versatility, and there's really no going wrong here. But being aggressive while you're swinging as Cade is key, because he has decent weaponry, but the problem with him is that he's a 3 armor. So he's very slow. So when you swing, make sure you give yourself enough time to actually kill them or get away. So here we have Gridlock. Gridlock is also another flank watch. She's going to be a 3 armor attacker. So not going to be good as Nomad, because you guys are going to see like how our tracks work, but you do get 4 of them. So they will expand from the middle one, and they'll keep expanding until there's no room to place them. So as defenders walk over these, they will do 10 damage. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. If they don't, but they can just do this, and they can walk right through. But that audio cue will give you a lot of time to be able to react to them walking through it. But it still doesn't stop them very much. Like, in terms of runouts, like, they will still be able to like run through, and like it'll hurt them like it's going through barbed wire, so it is kind of annoying, and explosives will destroy all of them. But you will be able to control an entire hallway like so, which is honestly going to be frightening to even look at. I mean, as a defender, you see this, you're like, what the hell? So that's extremely daunting. But other than that, I mean, that's Gridlock is a flank watch, so taking control, pushing through, and then Gridlock setting up traps up on the flanks, so you guys will have plenty of time to hear. Gridlock will also have a super shorty, which gives you a lot of versatility on making quick rotations. Let's say you start hearing someone break those, come in and pre-fire. Quick reload on an LMG. Gridlock, no one has ever complained about Gridlock's just overall gun power. Her ability is a little weaker than Nomad's though. So now we have Mozzie. So I didn't really know how to talk about Mozzie without putting clips out, and a lot of my clips are outdated as Mozzie, so bear with me. His Roni now has 16 bullets with a little bit more recoil, but Mozzie still functions the exact same way he always has. He is an extremely aggressive roamer, and when he gets a drone, he can control it, drive it around, and do whatever he wants with it. So Mozzie, to me, likes to function as a secondary roamer because you're going to be able to deny drone entry because you're going to get 3 pests, which your pest gadget will be able to deny drones from coming through. And if a drone does walk through your pest, or you shoot your pest at a drone, you will grab the drone and control it. It'll be your drone for the rest of the round. So it is extremely strong to keep out the intel. So comparing him with, like, let's say a mute Mozzie Vigil is an extremely strong lineup for a roam game because they won't be able to really drone anybody, and they're basically just gonna have to take straight up gunfights. Mozzie is an extremely good operator. He has a commando or a Roni. Either one is solid, and he also has a nitro. So Mozzie is basically just a whirlwind of death with a lot of intel denial. So the attackers are going to have to peek with their faces instead of with their drones. So now let's talk about Nokk, who's probably one of the most fun entries to play in the game, also the most lurky one. So you are going to have a FMG as your primary weapon, so it's going to be a little weaker in terms of that. But let's talk about the ability. Hell's Presence. So you are very quiet, and cameras will not see you when you're using this. So you function like a combo of Vigil and Caviera when using this ability, and you get the jump on a lot of people while you use it. Pushing in from underneath and kind of lurking around is kind of the Nokk specialty. And when you go underneath, looking for a grenade where you can grenade somebody from under is definitely key. You're gonna work your grenades underneath, and then you're gonna lurk around. You can either crouch walk like this or use your ability to kind of just be a little bit more aggressive. Don't sprint though. That doesn't work while you sprint. But being able to pressure up like this, like, you're going to see Nokk played a lot, especially like comp and like pro league. Nokk is extremely good as that lurking operator, trying to catch defenders off guard, trying to get the jump on them before they even realize that she's even there. So now let's talk Warden. Warden is going to have a 1.5 on the MPX and a Nitro with an SMG-12. So Warden has a lot of decent weaponry to just outright kill people, but being a 3 armor is going to limit your mobility and running around the map. A lot of people will still play Warden and, you know, be that aggressive operator to take aggressive gunfights to hold back the attackers. Your ability, I'm not really sure what it's called, but when you put your little Ned Flander glasses on, and you can't get flashed, and you can see through smoke. So any type of attacking utility can be easily countered by Warden, unless it's like a frag grenade. Obviously, you're just gonna die. So playing aggressive as Warden when they're starting throwing smokes or flashbangs is extremely going to catch the attackers off guard and is going to deny a lot of rushing potential to the attackers. All right, so let's talk about one of the funnest operators to play in the game. You have Amaru, giving you a lot of potential to make an early aggressive play and go nuts. Bring out your grappling hook, and away you go. The decent gun, a lot of fast rushing ability. You can also do some crazy stuff while you're inside the building. I don't recommend doing this too often, but the occasional, sometimes it'll work. Right up through a hatch, catching a lot of people off guard. So Amaru is obviously an entry. You are pressuring the entire map, trying to find an opening and just trying to work through while clearing out the defenders. So you're more of a lurking entry frag, looking for anybody kind of off on their own, trying to clear the roam, trying to clear by yourself. And yeah, can't use it on everything though. However, just on the some balks you can, but a lot of times you are going to have to use it only on a hatch or on random rooftops. Amaru is nice on those skylight maps because let's say like I want to get to the skylight really quick to see if I can catch anyone slipping. You can get to the skylight real fast and maybe catch someone not paying attention. So now let's talk Goyo. The Goyo is a really good time denial and plant denial operator. He's also very aggressive and has a nitro, so there's a lot of versatility with Goyo. You can push in aggressively, you can roam around the map while leaving gas canisters on site for your anchors to be able to activate. So let's talk about these Vulcan canisters. So the way that these function, you're gonna place it down like on the ground or on a wall, like so. And if you shoot the big red target, obviously, kaboom. So let's say they're planted around the corner and I can't really see it. One thing you can do is just, you know, wait for that fire to run out. The fire lasts a long time. The only downside with these fires is that you're going to have to actively shoot them. So like, let's say this is a hard one to activate. So you are going to want to place it a little bit more like in a line of sight that you can see, but the attackers can't see. Like so. Like they can't really see me. I can activate that to keep them pinned out for at least 15 to 20 seconds. So another one, boom. And look at this fire radius. If they're planting close tuck, let's say planting like right here, they'll hurt them. So you can really keep them out. And I mean, even placing them like this, like I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like from outside. They won't be able to activate it or anything, but if they throw an explosive, well, it's gone, and so am I, apparently. So now let's talk Callie. Callie kind of functions like Thatcher in terms of getting utility off the wall, or hell, if you shoot it at a shield, it will destroy the shield. So you're gonna get 3 of these charges that you can shoot at utility. If you shoot at the wall, it will penetrate and destroy the utility on the other side. If it is a Cade Claw, however, you are going to need a drone to see where the Cade Claw is to try to hit the vicinity of the Cade Claw. So what makes Callie extremely unique is she is, honestly, you think Glaz would be the sniper of the Rainbow Six lineup, but it is Callie. Callie has the only OG sniper rifle bolty in Siege. With one shot to the body, you are downing any target you are shooting at. It is extremely good, and you are going to have a 4x as well as a 12x option on the scope, so any type of long range engagement, Callie is king. So now let's talk about Wamai. He is one of the, I would say, one of the 3 defenders that can keep out projectiles from attackers, with them being Jager, Wamai, and kind of Aruni. So you can throw his disc, you'll get more discs throughout the round. So playing Wamai near the site or a soft roam very close to site is very ideal, because you're going to want to have him close to really get all the use out of his discs as he throws them, so you're not going to get exploded by grenades. So Jaeger's is a leave and forget, but Wamai's you're going to get a couple at the start of the round, and you're going to get more as the round goes on, kind of like Legion's mines. So Wamai has a great arsenal of weapons. You have an AUG or an MP5K with the 1.5 scope. You're also going to have impacts or prox alarms. Most of the time I'd run impacts because it's just going to give you a little bit more oomph. The prox alarms are only going to do so much, and there are going to be the occasional operator that's going to bring barbed wire or Melusi, you know, that's going to be function a lot better than your prox alarms. Prox alarms only sometimes. Honestly, Wamai is just a really good like sight holder, as well as a late retake operator that's just extremely strong in the late round. I've been waiting to talk about this operator this entire night. I've been making this video. My favorite operator of all time, I'm sure you guys can guess. You've seen several videos about her. Iana! So Iana is going to have the option between the G36 and the ARX. The ARX, I feel like it's just one of the best guns in the game, and just straight up one-on-one firefight. And you have a Gon 6 as well as a pistol as your secondary. Gon 6 for more explosive, dealing with any pesky defending utility, and a frag grenade as well as smokes. But it is a frag grenade meta. Frag grenades win games. So let's talk about the ability, the Gemini replicator. So if you're out of drones, you can use your ability to scan around. Basically, you make a fake version of yourself, and you can walk around like you're yourself and just kind of scout around. They're going to see the Iana clone. They're not going to know it's a clone. They're going to think it's you. second they shoot it, it'll be gone, but it will recharge. So you're basically going to get unlimited drones if you play your cards right. But you're very exposed, and it makes a lot of noise when you activate it. So you got to make sure that you are safe when you use this. Otherwise, you are going to go down. Now, Iana's biggest strength is just her one-on-one ability. She is just with a 1-5 on an ARX or 1-5 on the G36. I mean, if you run that route, she's just really strong. Honestly, probably you're going to see Iana in most games that you guys see, because she's just an overall really strong operator and one of the best entries in the game. There's not much else to say. She's a great operator, but very simplistic. The Gemini Replicator is basically, just think of it as more drones. So you get unlimited drones whenever you want. You can't use it on repel, it's the only downside. And then a frag grenade with a Gon 6, so you can use a Gon 6 to burn ADS and throw a frag grenade on top. So, yep. So now let's talk about Oryx. So Oryx's ability, I mean, simply put, allow him to burst through walls. If you use this ability while facing his shield, you will knock the shielder on his back, and you can just finish him off with a quick shot. So, good thing about Oryx, he's one of the best roamers in the game, because you're gonna have a bailiff to make rotates for your team on site, so no problem there. And one of the biggest things about Oryx, besides his dash, and you got Barb too, always use that. Just the ability, like, let's say I need to get past this hallway, it'll be very hard to actually hit the Oryx that's doing that. And as an added bonus, on bigger maps, you are going to be able to do this. Of the hatch. If you don't want to climb up the hatch completely, hold it. I think I probably just pressed it once. Yeah, you can look around and just see what's going on. We'll go back down. Makes a lot of noise though, so you have to be careful when you do this. And his gun, the T5 with a 1.5 scope, there's a reason why Lesion got this taken away from him. It's just a really solid gun. You are going to get a lot of kills with this gun. So, okay, there's like let's say like a Thunderbird. You can just make rotates really fast, like no problem. Give it an overheal, and you get more dashes as the round goes along. So, but every time you go through the wall, it does do 5 damage. So you got to be careful not to do it too much. So now let's talk about one of the safest operators in the game to use as a hard breach, Ace. So the reason why Ace is a great hard breach, you can throw your gadget on the wall and it'll open it up a little bit bigger than Hibana's. So you'll be able to actually vault through it. It won't open up like Thermite, obviously. But the good thing about Ace is that you get 3, and it is very easy to open a wall as Ace, and you can do it very safely. And his gun, let's just talk about the AK. The AK is an amazing gun. Like, there's, look at this thing. Like, this thing is honestly just great. Like, sometimes I think that Ace could be considered an entry just with this gun by itself, with massive fire rate, with great damage. So let's look at the Ace charge really quick. So open up a wall, you can do this on a soft wall or a reinforced wall, no problem. Obviously you can't do it if the wall is denied an ability, so you'll be able to just vault right through it, no problem. The only downside to this ability is that to get hatches open, you're going to have to use 2, and you only have 3. So to get hatches, Hibana is still going to be the king of hatches. So Hibana to open hatches, Ace if you wanted to be a hard breach, but you want to kind of focus more on your gunplay, and Thermite to open up massive breaches in the walls. But Ace is just nice, man. Oh my god. Definitely my go-to.
5 seconds left.
All right, now let's talk another one of my favorite operators, Melusi. So, your gadget, the Banshee Sonic Defense, or just, you know, Banshees or Melusis, or what people call them during the rounds. So you're gonna get 3. So Melusi, I like to call her the anti-rat king. So you place them on every entry or staircase leading up to the site, and it's gonna make a lot of noise and slow them down like they're in barbed wire, and it's gonna make a lot of noise. Like, I'm not trying to describe it, but it just makes a lot of noise. You guys are definitely going to hear them coming. It's very hard to rat on a map with a Melusi up, so sometimes if you ever see a Melusi band, expect a lot of early rushing and just a lot of walking up staircases and walking through flanks. So Melusi is going to have an MP5 and a shotgun. Do not play the shotgun. The shotgun's a little literal. The MP5 is the best. It is great. It is a good gun. It is a pea shooter. You're gonna have to get headshots, but it is a great gun. And you're also gonna have impacts or bulletproofs. So Melusi's overall a solid op, especially as a 3-speed. I like to place my Banshees on site so my team's not going to get horribly pushed through. And then I like to run around and roam around and just be overall as aggressive as I possibly can as a 3-speed operator with a fast firing gun. So now we're going to be talking about Zero. So Zero is another flank watch, but it's going to require a more coordinated team. So let's talk about his gadget. Let's call them the Zero cams. So the Argus cams, you will be able to watch. You'll get 4 of them. Very hard to spot if you're not actually on them. There's going to be a little yellow light on them when they're active. And you can use them to watch flanks fairly easily, but you are, like I said, you are going to need to have a teammate probably watch at least 1 or 2. So what I like to do as Zero is I'll do something like this. I'll do a 1, 2, 3 method where I have eyes on everything that I want. So one good thing about these cameras is like you can like go backwards through the floor if you need to. Don't need to do that here. So obviously I'm going to do this. So I'll have 1, 2, 3. So I'll be able to see like a little bit above me. So I'm going to be focusing on that hatch personally. I'm going to be able to watch my security flank and see the sunrise area. So, and then I'll pressure in with an amazing gun, which is great. So I like to think of Zero as a Swiss Army knife because you also get a hard breach gadget, which, I mean, this works on reinforced walls as well as just normal walls. So if you just need to breach something really quick, don't be afraid to just use it like this because you get 2 of them. So no problem. A lot of operators get it, but on Zero, it definitely makes the most sense. Now we're going to talk about another one of my favorite operators, Aruni. So Aruni is a kind of a hybrid op. I'm not really sure how to explain her. So she is a Aruni, which is pretty good, but I mean, she is the only defender with a DMR, and that DMR is busted. Like, that DMR is so goddamn strong with 20 bullets. It has more bullets than the Aruni has with 16. So I definitely strongly suggest taking the DMR and trying it out. It is really good. You body people with the 2-shot almost anybody with it, so it is extremely strong. You're also going to have a decent pistol as well as barbed wire or a bulletproof as backup. So you're going to get 3 Aruni gates, and Aruni gates, what they do, there's a laser gate. Any type of attacker ability, gadget, whatever, is going to be disturbed by the gate. So if I throw a frag grenade, the frag grenade's gone. If I throw a drone through it, the drone's gone. As it takes 1 object, it is going to go down. If I walk through it, if an attacker walks through it, I should say, they will take 30 damage, and then the shield will go down. If a defender walks through it, the shield will go up, and the attackers will very visibly see that the laser gate went up. So very easy to spot. So be careful if you put a gate where attackers might be. If you swing out through it, they're going to see you coming from a mile off. But the gates are good because, like I said, like earlier on, it's Jager and Wamai is the only 2 guys that can keep grenades and stuff from coming at the defenders, and Aruni does help with that with the Aruni gates. And every time a gate is burned, after about 15 seconds, you can shoot the top part of the gate to reset it. I love Aruni because she has another special passive ability, her punches. So her melee makes a tiny little hole. I mean, it makes a pretty big hole that you can basically put your head through. And if you melee correctly, you can make rotates and do it. I mean, the rotates take a little while as Aruni versus anyone with a shotgun, but you have unlimited punches, obviously. So you can make a bunch of rotates or line of sight, and you can make line of sight on the fly. You can also melee zombies in 1 shot, castles in 1 shot, barricade doors in 1 shot, which makes her the run out king. So Aruni is extremely strong for that punch with the DMR, and the gates are extremely good because they kind of function like castles as well as ADSs. I mean, everything about Aruni is very strong. So definitely try her out. All right, here are the Aruni punches. Very quick to make a rotate. Definitely don't want to do all like during the middle of the round because it can definitely mess you up. But doing this out of the round, you can make rotates fairly easily, which you can obviously just crouch right through. So one of the things I love about Aruni is like when you're like flanking or whatever, like being able to make just a quick little melee hole that you can just gun people through is just really nice. So let's talk Floors. Floors is another kind of support op whose basic job is to clear out as much utility in the site as he possibly can. After he does that, he is a decent entry with a AR, with a decent 1.5 or a 2X with flashbangs. So you're gonna have a lot of time on drone. So you are, I mean, to use your ability, you're gonna be on drone quite a bit. So Yeah, we're gonna show you how the drones work. So when you use the drone, you have 10 seconds to detonate it. If you drive it the entire time, obviously that's 10 seconds every time. And you detonate it like so, and then watch, kaboom, and it goes off like a nitro. So one thing you can do that I love to do as a Flores entry, I love to have my drone get off and then just kind of follow it up. So people think that I'm on the drone, but in actuality, I'm just refragging the drone. And the drone will still go off. So in a situation like this, I'll have to just drive it forward because it is still going to open up that wall and make an entry spot so I can kind of like, you know, hide under the mask of that drone while it goes off, and it will open up the wall, giving me an angle to shoot someone through. All right, so now let's talk about Thunderbird. Thunderbird is a crazy good operator. Just the entire kit of Thunderbird is just great. So you're gonna have a decent primary shotgun that, I mean, it's Caviera's primary shotgun, so, or the spear, another assault rifle on defense. So definitely run that spear if I were you. And then as a secondary, you can have the bearing 9 or just a normal pistol, which is, I feel like it's obvious you can run that bearing 9. So you have two solid guns on defense, and then you can also run either a nitro or impacts, which honestly depends on what you're trying to do. So the reason why Thunderbird is really strong, Thunderbird is definitely a roamer and also helps other roamers because her ability, you can put down 3 like medical stations that when people walk over, it will heal them, and they recharge. So you can heal from like 1 health to max multiple times throughout the round. So anytime someone runs over it, it'll activate, it'll heal them. If you're even hurt at all, like it'll just heal you. If you are at full health when it heals you, it'll give you a little bit of over health, but now it won't just give you overheal if you walk over it. But Thunderbird is extremely strong because the way that she just functions, you can go run around, play aggressive as a 3-speed, take an aggressive gunfight, barely win your gunfight, really hurt, and come back, heal up all the way to max, and then do it again, just over and over. Let's go. So now let's talk about one of the best shielders in the game, Osa. So Osa is going to have deployable shields. You're gonna get 2 of them that you can see right through. The defenders will be able to see through them as well, but you'll be able to walk forward invincible from a straight on assault. If you walk side to side, they will be able to shoot your legs, or if you stand up, they will be able to shoot your legs like a normal shielder. So just be careful. A shield isn't really meant for that. It is good to walk in like a mountain climber, place your shield down, and take control of a site. So here we're going to show on the boom, you can pop open a barricade just like so. Let's say I want to push inside. Let's say someone starts shooting at me. I place my shield down. They will be able to destroy this with a nitro or impacts, but obviously bullets aren't going to do anything. I'll be able to just right here, and the second they start looking away, I can start doing a little bit of this. Push up forward again. They start shooting at me again. Boom. And then boom. And boom. And I would go for a plant. Like here.
15 seconds remaining.
I go for a plant like right here if the site was in kitchen, but it's not, obviously.
Left.
She's really good for pressuring into a site and planting. She's just a really good overall just kind of flank watch, and the PDW, baby. Let's talk about Thorn. So as Thorn, you have an extremely strong gun and a decent backup. Your gadgets are going to be used more like proximity mines, but if the attackers aren't smart or aren't careful, they can die to them. So, all right, let's do a normal setup as Thorn. So I'm just gonna put my shield down, and then after that, that's kind of it. Like I'll maybe leave like a gadget or 2 for the site, but like my defending teammates will know, and then I'll kind of run around. I'll place another Thorn trap wherever I feel like an attacker might walk into it and maybe get caught off guard. So like I place one maybe like so, just so like even if they don't get killed by it, look at that radius. If they're in that radius at all, they will die. So when it's activated, it'll take about 2 to 3 seconds for it to fully go off. But as it's active, I mean, I'm gonna hear it and I'm just gonna pre-fire, and this gun shreds. This is probably one of the best defender guns in the game. Like Loki, I wish I could have this gun on attack sometimes. Very stable gun with a high damage. And just look at what it does to walls. I mean, not great, but those like chamber 50 cals. I mean, it does the best out of all the SMGs against the wall, but not very noticeable. As a backup, nice. So Thorn, run around the map, play aggressive. You have the gun to actually end up winning the fight. So let's talk about the new operator, Sens, the most recent operator for Operation Back to Glaz. So honestly, this operator is not as strong as a lot of other ops. I don't think it's been fully tapped yet, but think Osa and Ying, but like a slightly worse version. So the one thing that really bothers me about this gadget is that impacts and nitros can destroy the trail that it leaves. But overall, that is fairly decent. The gun itself isn't great. I mean, it recoils like crazy. It is hard to land a headshot. I mean, I'm not even trolling on that recoil, bro. Like, but let's get the gadgets a little bit more. So boom. As long as you're arcing it somewhat, you should be good. So like here, like I would probably try to do maybe like there's so many ways to learn this because you'd have to arc it like perfectly. Even that, like I wouldn't say is that great because I could just like walk up to this wall maybe. Go through the window. If you walk into the gap, I mean the smoke, you won't be able to see it all, even if you are Sense. Glaz will be able to. As long as I'm isolating like one enemy at a time while I'm Sense, that's what I'm going for with this gadget. So I can avoid multiple angles at the same time, isolate one person at a time, and be able to take them out. All right, now let's talk about Zombie. Zombie is an incredibly strong operator, unlike, I mean, the opera we just reviewed. So let's show why. So you're gonna get 5 of these Kiba barriers that you're gonna get throughout the round, and they are bulletproof. You can destroy them with 3 melee hits, 1 Aruni punch, or any type of explosive, but they could give you interesting angles to make a labyrinth. You are an architect. You can make the site however you feel. And they're great, like just like that, boom. Don't have to worry about this window potentially. Let's say they breach the floor. One thing you can do, you can patch the floor up as a zombie. Pretty great. Patch the floor, no problem. They can melee it, but I mean, then I know where they're at and I'm kind of taking shots at them. So the zombie is great. You'll get 5 of these and you'll be able to use them on the fly. So even if they drone out, the attackers drone out early on, if they have a zombie, you are going to be able to make the side however you want and just readjust everything. So let's do one more thing. So let's say they're pushing through office and I go for like a flank and I'm doing this. Like, it's just so many variations that you can do with these zombies that it's just so strong. All right, guys, and that was every operator in the game, and I usually generally play them. So guys, if you guys learned a little bit, or if you just want to support the content in general, make sure to subscribe, drop a comment, leave a like. I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you made it to this point, you guys are the goats. It's a long video. This is probably one of my longest videos with the most editing I've ever done in a YouTube video. So make sure to show us some love. I put a lot of effort in this video, so I appreciate you guys. Hey.